Yo, what's up? Happy Saturday. That word is Saturday. Master Manifestors. I'm coming at you today from my home office here in Guatemala, Lake Atitlan. And over the last 5 days, we have been unpacking the manifestation game plan. The manifestation game plan is a new body of work that myself and the team at Live More Perfect Days are putting into the world to make it easy to be able to understand manifestation. We've broken the entire process of how to manifest anything down into 6 simple steps. And each day over the last 5 days, we've been going through each individual step. So if you haven't caught up on this series, it's all free inside our Facebook group. Go to livemoreperfectdays.com/group and you'll get to our Facebook group from there. It's 150,000 lifestyle designers just like you that want to understand how to use the law of attraction to manifest and live their life by design, to be able to call things into your life like partnership, where you want to live, life work, understanding your soul purpose and money and anything that you're wanting to bring into your world. We are working together and understanding how to understand the law of attraction and how to harness it to bring the things that you want into your life. So if you are tuning in here, let us know where you're tuning in from. I am going to be joined by Matt, another co-creator here at Live More Perfect Days and one of the founders. And we are going to be talking today about the 5th phase of the manifestation game plan, which is called the release phase. So I want to bring Matt in here and introduce him. How's it, Matthew? What's happening, bro?
Hey, it's going good here. Coming to you from Mexico in a coffee shop. I hope it's not too noisy, but excited to talk about. We're going to talk about releasing your order today. Is that right? Phase 5 of the manifestation game plan.
Absolutely. So if you haven't seen this series, it is inside our Facebook group. I want to quickly run through the first 4 phases before we get to the release phase, so that you understand how these various phases work in manifestation. If you are looking to get the law of attraction to work for you, it's important to understand that you need to go through all 6 of these phases in order for you to be able to manifest anything. If you only do one of the phases or only do a couple of the phases but don't go through some of them, you're going to battle to get manifestation to work for you. And if it does work, you're not going to know what you did in order to make it work so that you can consistently get the results that you want. The system of the manifestation game plan goes through 6 specific phases, and you need to understand each phase. Sometimes you need to do some work in each of those phases, and we've developed a series of tools for each of those phases to help you make sure that you're clear on exactly what you're manifesting and how to bring it into your life. So phase 1 is called desire. This is about owning your desires. Are you comfortable to be able to own what exactly it is that you're calling into your life? If you're calling in more money into your life, but you're not able to stand up in front of your family and say, I am so ready to bring $1 million into my life, and feel comfortable about that, you have work to do on the desire phase. Many of us say we want more money, but we're unable to own our desires, and this is one of the problems that you could have in your manifestation process if you haven't done the work required in the desire phase. The next is placing your order. Phase 2 is about placing your order. We have an analogy of placing the things that you want to attract with the law of attraction as an order with a factory, an imaginary factory. You think about the things that you want to call in by placing them as an order with a factory. And we have tips and tools to help you get super clear on how to make sure that you are precise and clear about what it is that you're calling into your life. That's all about phase 2. Phase 3 is about decluttering, letting go of any of the old stories or anything that could be blocking whatever it is that you're calling into your life. If you want more money into your life, but you haven't done the tax return for the last few years, your credit card statements are piled up like this and you're too scared to look at them, you've got decluttering work to do in the 3rd phase before you can call more money into your life. The 4th phase is about paying for your order. There's only one acceptable currency that you can use to pay for your order, and that's the currency of belief. And we spoke yesterday about how belief is broken down into 4 components: gratitude, patience, progress, and fun. As you start to develop those components related to, let's say, for example, your money order, you start to develop the belief that you're worthy of that money order, that is a possibility for you in your life. And as you start to believe it, that starts to manifest as your reality in the world. The 5th phase that we're talking about today is about release. And so Matt is going to share like an analogy of how release looks and feels in your body, because the process of manifestation is a little bit of head, and a lot more of your physical body and your emotional body. How do you feel in every single moment? Do you feel like somebody who's worthy of love, worthy of wealth, worthy of financial abundance? And this is the process of manifestation. Getting clear in phase 2 and placing your order is really a function of mind. I want this. You set the path of exactly what you want it to be. But as you start to pay for your order, and in this phase where you start to release it, it becomes a lot more about the body. How do I feel in this moment? How do I feel like a wealthy person? Do I feel like a healthy person? Do I feel like somebody? Do I walk like somebody that's got the book deal? Do I walk like somebody that's got the girl that is the girl of my dreams? Or am I walking around like this, hoping that maybe somebody like this? It becomes very much an embodied experience. And so Matt's going to share an analogy of how the release phase works. And after that, we're going to give you some practical tools that you can use. The tools we're going to give you today happen to be related to money, but there's lots of other tools that we can share with you around how to get release to work for you. So Matt, share your experience of what the release phase means to you, and maybe an analogy of that illustrates exactly what the release is about.
Yeah. Thank you, Gareth. The release phase is phase 5. So it comes after you've done the first 4 steps of owning your desire, of being specific about it, of paying for your order, doing the decluttering. Now you've done the work, and you can go out in the world and you carry with you that belief that this order is going to arrive back. So, there's some subtle nuances to this of, like, for example, in previous years, I've tried to manifest money unsuccessfully because I've said, I want $10,000 to show up in my world, or I want $5,000 a month in passive income. And there was almost a sense of desperation around wanting and needing that money because I didn't go through the phases that led up to it. And it's sort of like, I compare it to this idea of going to a bar. You can go to a bar, and there's the guy who goes to the bar who really wants to make a connection with someone, and he's desperate for that connection. And every interaction he has, he's craving that connection so badly that if it doesn't arrive, he's devastated. And that desperation gets carried to every interaction that he has, and he ends up going home lonely that night or not connecting with anybody because he carries that desperation with him. Compared to the guy who can go to a social environment, he's confident that he wants a connection, and he's confident that's going to arrive. The right order, the right partner, the right connection is going to arrive, and he doesn't worry about it. And because he carries that confidence, as a result, he is more attractive to other people. He ends up making great connections, and he has these amazing people surrounding him because he didn't carry with him that desperation. And when you go through the 4 phases leading up to release, you've done the work, you've increased the belief, you know that this order is going to arrive, and it's released from your mind. You're just going on through life. And if y'all been paying attention to the live streams we've been doing this week, I shared a consulting client that arrived in my world that was an order delivered for money that I was bringing in. And part of me getting that order delivered in my world was going through these 4 phases. I knew that this money was going to arrive. I knew what I was going to spend this money for. I knew exactly that the amount that I ordered was going to cover all the different places I wanted it to go to pay my rent, to go to upgrade my technology, to take my partner out on a lovely trip to the mountains. Like, these were things that I allocated these funds that were coming in for. And then I was able to release it, forget about it, and go about my daily life until 2 days later, I meet this future client in a bar, in a coffee shop. And within 20 minutes, he was asking to hire me as a consultant for exactly, specifically, the amount of money and the task that I wanted him to do. And it was the energy that I carried to that coffee shop of truly releasing this order from my mind that I was able to attract that connection into my world. And so, yeah, this release phase is really, it speaks to, Gareth, what you were saying earlier about how if you skip a phase, or you gloss over one of them, or you skip one of these that's critical, the release phase is a perfect illustration of how you can't release this order into the world until you've done the work. And so, yeah, release is all about getting to that point where you can really let it go, be confident that it's going to arrive, and go about your daily life just like going to a bar, confident that you're going to meet that special person. That's sort of the nuances of that energy. Does that make sense? I feel like I was just rambling.
So good. No, bro, it was on point. I think exactly what you're talking to there is this part of, remember how we spoke about the only acceptable currency being belief? What Matt's talking about there is as you release and you truly release, you don't release and then go and hustle and like go after it again, because that doesn't develop the belief. But what Matt did is he called in exactly what he wanted. He went through the process of allocating exactly where that order was going to go, where the money was going to go. And then he believed the same belief that you pay for your orders with. He believed that it was going to show up, and he walked out into the world that way. And when you walk out into the world that way, it's the same as the guy who walks out into the bar who just feels comfortable because he believes that someone is going to show up and the person's going to show up. And if it doesn't mean, if it's not tonight, I'm okay with it because I believe the right person's coming. You're
right,
not the person. Go ahead.
And the version of me of 2 years ago, before I had these tools at my disposal, would have been at that coffee shop, desperate for money. As soon as a potential client relationship was sitting in front of me, that desperation for that money would have been cruding up or muddying.
It's like the marriage proposal with the first drink acceptance. When you meet a girl in the bar, you're like, this must be the one. So great to see you. You know, you just
right. And
way
that's
too heavy, way too fast.
I think a lot of people can relate to that type of energy when it comes to relationships, but we don't think of money in the form of relating the way we do with other people, when really we should. There's a ton of nuances with our relationship with money that are very similar to our relationship with our partner or our parents or our friends or just the general public around us. And if we start treating the money in our lives as though it was a partner in a committed relationship, how would we speak about money? How would we treat it on a daily basis? And these are the stories that we have around money that can really muddy up the waters in that relationship with it. And part of what we're doing next week with the Money Manifestation Reboot is identifying what those old stories are around money and identifying, do I have a good relationship with money right now? And if I don't, what are the steps that I take to improve it? Wow, they are really releasing the express energy right now.
Talk about the release phase. Yeah, it's such a great analogy. I would love you to give me a comment in this video. Matt spoke about something we're going to unpack in Money Manifestation Reboots. Money as your lover. If you looked at your relationship with money the same way that you looked at your relationship with a lover, write down the words that come up right now in the comment section of this. What comes up for you? How do you feel if you were to look at your relationship with money the same way that you look at your relationship with your lover? Because very often, if you don't have the money that you want in your life, you probably don't have a great relationship with money or with your story of money. And that's why it's showing up in your life in an inconsistent way. So what we want to do now quickly before we finish off this live stream is you want to give you an actual tool that you can use to understand the process of money in this release phase. And it has to do with allocating whatever it is that you're calling in. So this is what I said earlier. We've got a money tool that Matt's going to share with you now of what you can do specifically right now to understand that money is a flow that flows through you, number one, and something you can practically do right now to be able to get into this release phase and get yourself into the vibration of the person that's comfortable and believing that your money is going to show up. And so, Matt, maybe you want to just share exactly this flow of money through us and a quick tool that our audience can use.
Yeah, so so everyone who's in the audience right now, think of an amount of money that you want to come into your world that's a little bit ridiculous. For me, I'm trying to call in an amount of $84,000 arriving in my world. And I'm sorry, $87,000 arriving in my world. And that amount of money is more than what I think I would spend it on. And when you take the time to itemize everything that you're going to be spending that money on, it creates a flow of it coming to you and then passing through you and using that money to purchase things. Maybe a lot of people try to order money, but they're not connected with what that money means to them. Like, really, I might want money so that I can take my kids to Disneyland and have an incredibly enriching family experience. I might want to take my partner to the mountains or buy that car so I can drive down the highway with the top down and the wind in my hair. Like, these are the things that we really want with money. It's not the money that we want. It's the experiences and the enriched life experience that we're really going for. And When you connect the money to that experience, it frees up that blockage that a lot of us have around money, because it's not just about having a big bank account. It's about the freedom that brings us, the choices, the options, the things that we want to enrich our lives. And when you connect those things to your order instead of a money amount, that's the magic, and that's a big part of release.
So good. So give us an example there. If someone's calling in, let's say $5,000 a month, you suggest actually going through that and breaking it down and allocating 1,000 as rent.
Yeah. Actually know where that money's going, and know that, first of all, it's enough to cover all of the fears of money that you might have. Like, you know that there's a bill coming up. Know what that amount is. I used to have this thing where I wouldn't open up my bank account because I was afraid of seeing how low the number was, and I knew that bills were due. And that's fear that we have to eliminate from our day-to-day interactions with money if we want to create the flow. So it starts with taking your money order of, say, $5,000 a month and itemizing every single dollar on where it's going to go, and connect to that emotional feeling of buying it. Like, I'm in debt right now to a handful of friends who have lent me money over the years, and part of that $87,000 that's coming in is going to pay back those people who have helped me out along the way. And I can connect the emotional feeling of sending that money transfer and following it up with an email saying, hey, bro, thanks for helping me out with the cash last year. Here's paying you back. And that emotional feeling of that money flowing through me, I can connect with today while I sit here in a coffee shop, even though that money hasn't arrived in my world yet. And that's the emotional connection you want to have, not to the money itself, but to the feeling of it flowing through you.
Mic drop. Thank you very much, bro. That's cool. That's such good advice, man. Really, really amazing. Because, yeah, and this is, I can tell you for certain, this is the problem that I had when I manifested $1 million. If you've watched this channel before, you will know the reason that I'm sitting here today teaching law of attraction was after watching a documentary called The Secret. I managed to manifest $1 million into my life. I had no plan as to where that money was going to go. That meant that I was not a good custodian of money. What we're going to teach you in MMR is that in order to attract money, you need to be a good custodian of money. Your relationship with money as a lover is about if you're a good partner to be with money. If you want a good relationship, you need to show up as a good partner. You need to show up and do the things that you need to do to support your partner. And money is part of that process. And I manifested $1 million. I had no plan of where it was going to go. I kept on hoping that it would keep on going up and up and up. I got greedy. I had a story that it wasn't yet enough. Not enough, not enough, not enough. As I went up, I had $1 million. It still wasn't enough, so I didn't cash out. And I didn't have a plan for money, and that basically all disappeared. And so, yeah, I cashed out with a couple of $100,000, which was beautiful. And that's been supporting the work that I'm doing at the moment and investing in this business. But what Matt's talking about is if you want $1 million to show up in your world and you want to get into this fifth phase of releasing it, you need to have a plan of where it's going to go. The first 200 is going to buy a house for my parents. Boom. The next 200, I'm going to go and travel the world for a year. Boom. The next, I'm going to give to family and friends. I'm going to invest in this organization. I'm going to do all these things. Now you suddenly have a plan. When it shows up in your life, you just do the things on your plan. This is lifestyle design and how it works. Eh?
Right. You do the things on your plan, and you're not sitting there being greedy for more. You're not sitting there thinking about, you're pausing and being grateful, and you're letting that money flow through you to where it goes. And that's the magic. Yeah.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. We have unpacked the fifth phase of the 6 phases in the manifestation game plan. If you want to see the manifestation game plan in action, we have included a link in the description of this video where you can register. This registration is only open for a couple more days before we drop our first video in our 3-part video series called Money Manifestation Reboots. It's a powerful training for you to understand your current money story, to be able to pick up where you have any abundance blocks, any of these things where maybe fear of money or you have a poor relationship with money, to be able to let those go. And from there, to be able to move into a place where you can rewrite your money story the way that you want it and move through these 6 phases of the manifestation game plan. So tomorrow we're going to share, actually not tomorrow, we're taking Sunday off. We're going to be here on Monday again, talking about the 6th step in the manifestation game plan, which is called order delivered. This is when the money that you're calling in shows up in your life like an on-time Amazon delivery. And we're going to show you exactly how to be ready for that, open to receiving that money. We're going to talk about the power of celebration and a beautiful little phrase that wraps up order delivered, and that is called thank you and more please. So all of that's going to come on Monday. Matt, thanks for tuning in from Mexico. Good to see you, bro.
Appreciate it, Gareth. Good to be here.
Yeah. And spots filling up fast. Thank you so much for the entire Live More Perfect Days team that's supporting us on this. They're doing an amazing job of building video experiences and supporting us with all the content that you guys have seen over the last few weeks. Money Manifestation Reboot is a brand new program. It's super, super hot, and we can't wait to see you inside. If you want to join Money Manifestation Reboot, there's a link in the video description box, and it's starting soon. Have a beautiful weekend. Thanks again, Matt. Nice to see everybody. Much love.